Hey man, say man, Mr. Make Your Bite Blood Out Your Bottom Lip. I'm back again and I gotta cook on this one, right? A lot of y'all ain't gonna like what I got to say, but I got to keep it real. I gotta keep it all the way real. And we talking about the drum boots Ennis and Vergil Ortiz, and we gotta keep it real on who really is at fault. Because we didn't look at Oscar De La Hoya, we didn't look at Vergil Ortiz, we didn't look at Boots, but who is really at fault? Let's really look at the picture that people really ain't talking about. And I'm gonna get that to you here raw. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's cook. Now, Boots. Boots is my guy. Yeah, I'm a big Boots supporter. I think Boots beats everybody at 154, 160, and maybe could go up to 168 and whoop everybody. That's just how I feel about it. Vergil Ortiz. I'm a fan of Vergil Ortiz too. Bigger fan of Boots. I'm gonna just keep it a buck with y'all. I'm a fan of Vergil Ortiz too, right? I think Vergil Ortiz is a hell of a fighter, right? I wanted this fight bad. Now I thought Boots was gonna run through Vergil if that fight was to happen, right? Now we know we're not getting that fight, but whose fault is it? And I'm gonna tell y'all right now. Yeah, we can look at Oscar De La Hoya, with his scary ass. He protected his fighter, protecting his investment. Then people blame Vergil Ortiz, and I'm going to break it down to you. At first, right? Not at first, but recently, in the very beginning, when Vergil Ortiz started coming out talking about he could do what he want and he could fight Errol Spence, initially, it was Vergil Ortiz that was kind of backtracking on making the fight with Boots. And I wasn't feeling that, right? A lot of fans wasn't feeling what Vergil Ortiz was calling out Errol Spence and looking other ways and looking in every direction but to Boots. And Boots was staring right at him. Like, nah, I'm here. I'm ready now. Let's make it happen, right? And then Vergil Ortiz, being the real stand-up guy that he is, he's seen that the fans was giving him backlash. He's seen that, yeah, man, he was kind of looking suspect. And Vergil Ortiz got a big ego, man. You just not finna punk him like that, and he gonna just sit back and let you punk him like that, right? So Vergil Ortiz stood up, he grabbed his nuts, and he was like, you know what? Make the Boots fight. Went to his people, went to Oscar, went to his manager. This the fight I want. Don't come to me with nobody else. I'm fighting Boots. Make the fight happen. So his manager tries to make the fight happen. We know the whole story. Oscar De La Hoya, he trying to make the fight not happen. He blocking the fight, right? On the other end, Boots is waiting. I'm ready now. Let's fight. Let's make it happen. But I'm going to tell y'all this, and I hate to say it because he my guy, but this is all Boots' fault. This is all Boots' fault. And y'all, I know y'all wondering, what the hell is he talking about right now? How is this Boots' fault? Nah, it ain't Boots' fault because he refused to, fight when Turkey called for it the first time. That ain't even it. It's Boots' fault. And I'm going to tell y'all, listen to me. Come here, listen to me. You don't burn bridges. You don't burn bridges. Especially when you got cats coming in the game with that big, big bread. Boots burnt the bridge when he sat up there and he did them interviews and they was asking him, hey, how you feel about going over to Saudi and making a bag? And Boots was like, nah, I ain't really feeling that. I want my fights over here. Like, I'm keeping my fights over here. I ain't really feeling about going over there, right? They asked him again, how you feel about working with Turkey? He was kind of like brushing it off, like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, Eddie Hearn, my guy, I'm not really, basically letting everybody know, like, I'm not effing with them. I ain't going over there and fighting, and I'm not effing with it. He burnt the bridge when he did that. He burnt the bridge when he did that, and I'm going to let y'all know. Look at everybody that's then made a big bag with Turkey. Most of all of them, right? Most of all of them, they either have a close relationship with him, or they did him a favor by going over there to Saudi, putting on the show at Saudi, and then he returned, did them a favor by putting them on big events in the U.S. See, ain't nothing for free. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. And that's just how they rock. When Boots, right out the gate, was like, nah, he burnt the bridge. And he didn't understand what he was doing, because that is what messed this Vergil Ortiz fight up. Because him burning that bridge, then they had to depend on the old way. They had to go back and depend on these promoters making the fight happen, putting all the money up, when they not finna do that, right? Vergil Ortiz ain't getting what he asked for. It would have never been a problem if Turkey was involved. So Turkey didn't want to be involved. Turkey was like, you know what? He ran his mouth. I'm hearing everything he's saying. He basically saying that he don't rock with me. He ain't gonna do this. He ain't. So you know what? Let's see how he do with depending on his promoter, working with other promoters to make these big fights that he won't happen. And now we see what happened. We went back to the old times before Turkey was in the game, before the Saudis brought that bag in the game. Now we got to depend on these promoters. Well, we'll give you $3 million. Nah. And now you got one fighter that's like, okay, cool. Boots was like, cool, okay, I'm cool with what I was offered. Vergil Ortiz is like, nah, I don't want that. But it never would have been a problem, because if he hadn't said what he said, Turkey would have made the fight happen on one of his cards. Nobody would have been complaining about the bread. Boots would have been getting way more. Vergil Ortiz would have been getting way more. And the fans will be getting what we want. But you burnt the bridge. You can't burn the bridge. That's what happened. So Jaron Boots Ennis is really the reason why the fight ain't happening. Not because he's ducking, not because he's afraid. It's because he burnt the bridge. Yeah, and I knew it was going to come to this when I seen him doing them interviews and saying what he was saying. Now, he wasn't being disrespectful, but he was letting it be known that, yeah, I ain't really rocking with that. And you can't do that, because now all the talent that Jaron Boots Ennis has, these other fighters in the division, they gonna work around him. They gonna fight each other, unify, and they're not gonna fight him until they're forced to fight him. And how are you gonna force any one of them to fight you unless they want to become undisputed? And we know how the game go with these fighters when it comes to wanting to become undisputed, but having to go through a certain fighter or certain fighters to become undisputed. We've seen it plenty of times in the game. Nasty work. I know that Boots didn't understand what he was doing at the time, but if you look at the bigger picture and you look at it really, really, that's why the fight ain't happening, is because Turkey ain't involved. And Turkey ain't involved because Jaron Boots Ennis. That's why. Otherwise, the fight would be happening. And De La Hoya would have to sit his ass on the sideline and watch both fighters make money, and he gonna get his money out of it too. And everybody be happy. I know y'all ain't like what I said, but I'm still rocking with Boots. But it is what it is. I got to keep it real, even when it comes to my favorite fighters. You got to keep it a buck. This is not an agenda channel. This is not a push a narrative channel. This is keep it all the way 1,000. Anyway, y'all let me know how y'all feel about it. Drop a comment in the comment section. Make sure you hit the like button. Y'all already know how I do. I'm gone.